Welcome back. Love Boat Project, episode number 39. Can't believe it. With me, as always, my co-host, Mike Robertson. Ahoy, Mike.
Hey, Mike. I feel like I've been very pessimistic about this season, very negative. I would like to say that, some of our general complaints over the course of the first 38 episodes are starting to be addressed here in episode 39. I'm not going to spill the whole bucket here, but we definitely are starting to see some stuff, some breadcrumbs maybe that we've been asking for a long time. So that made me excited about this, which doesn't take much anymore to get me excited about these episodes because some of them are not great. But this one, I'm going in positive.
Yeah, I was doing the same, knowing that, after reading what it was about, I'm like, oh, okay, this is a link to some history, it's going to maybe give us some missing pieces to the puzzle of that Doc mythology, basically. And maybe you get to see a nice side of somebody else in this episode too.
Yeah. No, I tried for a long time to avoid any of Doc's wives, and this is the only one I know, and I knew this for a little bit, but I gotta say, right off the bat, not since Eve Plum have I been so pleasantly surprised by an actress who I'd never seen in anything else. But I thought Tina Louise was outstanding in this episode.
I thought she was good too. It's funny you say that, because now when you said you've never seen her in anything else, I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else.
Yeah,
it was cool to see her not being ginger.
And if you remember a few months ago, one of the What Else Is On was Gilligan gets off the island in the helicopter or whatever it was.
Yeah.
She did not reprise her role there. And I had a lot of respect for her there because, who
they have a sit-in?
Yeah, they did.
Have a fake ginger? Oh.
They had a fake ginger. And if I remember correctly, because I think I pulled some clips for a reel from that, and it's pretty bad. And meanwhile, Tina Louise is like really good. She was really good in this episode. Like,
I wonder what happened there. Good for her for having some.
Good for her to not go back to that
dignity.
So, yeah.
But we're here to talk about Tina Louise because she is a guest on. Look at that segue, Mike, like a professional. The Love Boat, season 2, episode number 14, titled Second Time Around, The Now Marriage, now in quotation marks, and My Sister Irene.
Yeah.
This one's a little different, Mike. So this episode aired on January 13th, 1979. And normally, I'd say what's on.
Right.
But we haven't seen a new episode of The Love Boat on television since December 16th, 1978.
That's right. So we shot past Christmas. We shot past New Year's. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, what did they put on in the Love Boat slot for 3 Saturday nights? And I was surprised to see it's 3 repeats of The Love Boat.
Oh, wow. Old school repeats.
Well, we talk, and it's funny because it's something we've talked about, the lack of a Christmas episode. They played episode 11, season 1. You can find that in our archives. Love Boat Project, episode number 11, titled 6.
Yes. So Tony made it back for Christmas?
Tony made it back for Christmas.
Do you think that they were like, you know what? We perfected it. We're never going to have another Christmas episode. We're just going to run that one like it's...
We did it. We left it all on the field.
The Sesame Street where they all ice skate and Bert buys Ernie paper clips or whatever the gift of the Magi was.
Oh, I just like that, we title our episode based on the fact that the captain of a cruise ship couldn't count. We're just silly.
It was a great Christmas episode, and our episode was a great Christmas episode.
I thought it was a great
episode 41, which will be in a few weeks here, will be our Christmas episode because I am getting my money's worth out of that Santa hat.
I don't blame you. I think I have a Santa
what
t-shirt.
The episode's about. That's what we're doing. So,
ho ho ho.
Yep.
Okay, let's zoom ahead. Next week, New Year's Eve, 1978, same time slot.
Can I guess?
Please.
Okay, let me ask you this. Does it have any relevance? There was no New Year's Eve episode, so I'm trying to think of like a racy kind of good time Saturday night episode. Oh God, episode 7 always sticks with me. That was a real sex episode. How about the millionaire who stole that money? That
Mm-mm.
feels like a New Year's heist. I
Well,
don't know.
nothing feels like New Year's Eve and partying like the episode with red buttons and slow saxophone.
Oh no, from this season.
We're talking episode 2, season 2, episode 4, Love Boat Project, episode number 29, Merger Talk with Businessman number 1.
I will say though, if you think about how many bad things happened in that episode, it kind of is a good New Year's episode. There was
Well, because
fighting,
it's a shit show. I mean,
right? There was
essentially, yeah.
fighting and pimping and leering
Slow
of each.
saxophone. It was great. It was great.
That might be the best New Year's episode.
Lecherous red skeleton or red buttons. I did
Old
it
Lang
again.
Syne, yeah.
Oh,
So I'm really surprised they ran that again. That means they did
I-
not realize how awful that episode was.
they thought they were like home run
Yep, this is the best one. Hey,
team boat.
hey, Emmy voters, in case you missed this
Give me
one.
that one more time. we're gonna get buttons an Emmy. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh God.
For most lecherous.
Yeah.
1 week later, January 6th, 1979, same time slot. Love Boat, season 1, episode 2, O'Dale. Love Boat
Wow.
Project, episode 2, titled "We Were Pretty Close." It's in our archive. Yeah,
That
So
almost feels like
that's because John Ritter.
let's get some John Ritter.
That's just John Ritter. I bet.
Yeah. Wow. Those
It was a good episode, though.
It's an interesting mix, but that is a good episode. We really liked. In
I liked it.
retrospect, I think we probably would love to
Oh,
right
if
now.
we got 2 now, oh,
Yeah. But
crown
back
'em.
then we were like, we have just had high expectations.
I feel like we should be playing that Dennis Green sound clip right now. If you want to crown him, crown him.
Yeah, well, the first
They are
first
exactly
5
who
or
we thought
6
they are.
episodes were pretty good. But I'm
Yeah.
being positive this week. So
I am. I'm feeling optimistic.
Yep.
So that's what's been on. Let's get back to our regular bit. What's on? A couple of interesting things here. CBS at 9 p.m. Something called General Electric Theater. Champions, a love story. So
Wow, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. Oh, there's even more. I got a synopsis. I got a tagline. I got a lot of stuff with this. So I looked it up. General Electric Theater started as a radio series, and it's essentially like a Hallmark special,
Yeah. Yeah, because like in the old days, every radio program, especially, was sponsored by some company.
That's it. So it'd be like an hour. Well, Ronald Reagan was the host of it for years. And somehow he was forced out. And him being forced out was sort of like that last nudge he needed to run for office.
Wow.
Because less than a year from now, he'll be president. It's crazy.
Because is he governor of California right now?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those like Hallmark specials.
So it's an anthology. It's a one-off.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
Synopsis. 2 young people closely involved with each other on both physical and professional level while attempting to win the National Figure Skating Championships.
Wow.
The tagline is so good. Let me give you the tagline. It's so much better.
Go for it.
In the ice-hard world of figure skating, there's no room for love. Peter and Carrie proved them wrong. That's hot.
First of all, ice hard is not a term. So no one has said ice hard ever.
It's a bit of a stretch, right?
So
Ice
that's
cold?
like what's the
ice
movie
cold.
with what's the movie with DB Sweeney and The Cutting Edge? DB Sweeney and Maura Kelly.
Oh, they were
And
from
he was a
different
hockey player
worlds.
and she was a figure skater. Yeah.
Don't do that dangerous move.
That's going to get people jacked up for the 1980 Olympics in Lake Placid.
I'll tell you what.
Less than a year from now.
nobody's watching GE Theater when the boat's on. I'm sorry, but there's no way you're getting up to switch to this
It's
Champions
not
of
what
Love story.
it's not what I expected. Plus, you said
Mm-mm.
that was on CBS, right?
Yeah,
The irony, of
uh,
course, is General Electric would eventually buy NBC. So,
exactly.
yeah.
With who was that? Nell Carter, Dom DeLuise. No, I'm kidding. With Shirley Knight, Dom DeLuise. They were the figure skaters. Dom DeLuise and Nell
No,
Carter.
they weren't.
Tony
What?
Lobianco and Jennifer Warren.
Why is that Tony? That name's familiar.
Jennifer
Jennifer
Warren
Warren is a
sounded
singer, isn't she?
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just let it go. I was like, they're giving me a tagline. I got to walk away.
Yeah. Ice Hard is
Ice hard.
Ice
Hard
Hard
world.
is a turn of praise.
Why wouldn't they say in the ice cold world? Like ice
Yeah.
hard? Ice cold world.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, Ice Hard is.
No
They were
room
just
for
trying to get
love.
that one. You know what? It was like, wait, is that a term? I'm sure it's a term. It's fine.
Sounds better. I bet you they had the same conversation and they had the opposite.
Yeah.
Dummies.
Cool.
9 p.m. movie. Stunts, it's called. Synopsis. After a stuntman dies while he is involved in the making of a motion picture,
Oh no.
his brother takes his place in order to find out what really happened. With Dennis Johnson and Barney Cohen.
Dennis Johnson, the guard from the Celtics,
The
the 3-time world champion, Dennis Johnson. That's so. I'm curious. So, does the brother have any stunting experience, or is he
right.
like
He just gets maimed in the first scene? Oh, doesn't know how to take a punch.
he falls on that ice hard
And that
floor.
ice hard surface of ice hard ice. Poor Barney Cohen.
Well, I gotta say, I'm glad we're back to original productions.
Me too.
Very disappointing Christmas season, but those were two promising ones, and we'll throw those in the list when we go back and do the Patreon for all the things that were on. So
I missed the original NBC Sunday night or Saturday night movies back then. Like this is perfect.
And here we are in a new year. Still no sight of the American Girls.
No. Nothing. Not one.
If you have seen the American Girls,
they haven't even seen them. Nobody knows. They didn't even tell them they didn't have jobs.
Next time we're going to see him is going to be when she shows up as a nurse on Three's Company at the Regal Beagle.
So weird. They just like erase them from history, just quietly. Let's talk about the IMDb synopsis. One of my favorite parts of the show here. Irene agrees to meet college classmate Andy after years apart and then panics.
It's very true.
Okay. Dr. Todd, scumbag, wrote a book about open marriage, but finds his own marriage in jeopardy as he meets admirer Nancy.
I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. Yeah.
That's
not untrue, but there's a lot there.
That's more than you need. Yeah. I don't know why everything's one sentence. Adam's ex-wife Betty boards with new fiance Lance.
Yep.
I mean, eventually, right? But not. That's not really saying. Anything.
But you don't want to spoil. You don't want to spoil that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the synopsis like being misleading if it's
on purpose. It's going to lead to. Yeah. I guess what you're saying. Let's talk about the guest stars in alphabetical order.
Yes.
We start with Phyllis Davis.
Wait a minute.
Nancy Bishop. What?
Wait a minute.
What's that?
You missed, I believe.
Oh, you know what? It was on the page before. I'm sorry. I forgot Mr. Ray Bolger.
Someone there.
How could I forget about Ray Bolger? He played one of my least favorite characters, Horace McDonald, in season 1. My only other note, he still stinks. That's it.
I want to say we had the other side of the coin of Ray Bolger this week. More understated, I would say. In fact, I was a little disappointed. I wanted him to go full Scarecrow, and he was kind of smooth and debonair.
Yeah, no, it's just... Oh, we'll get there. We'll get
Folks,
there.
write in your vote for Ray Bolger to win all the stubbies this year.
Every stubby
So,
this year is Ray Bolger. Oh, jeez. Phyllis Davis is Nancy Bishop, best known for her role on the ABC show Vegas from 78 to 81 with Love Boat
Robert.
Project favorite Robert Urich.
He's your favorite. I'm not sure he's been very good on the Love Boat.
I just give him a little shout out. You know what I mean? So if he hears about
when
the
last
show,
we saw him, he was wailing on a kid. So
oh yeah, that's true. He's still chasing Pepito somewhere in Southern California. Tina Louise as Betty Bricker. The National Art Council named her the world's most beautiful redhead in 1958. She appeared in 98 episodes of Gilligan's Island. Big star.
Wow,
Big star.
1958. That's 20 years before this. Good.
I thought she looked a bit old. Now, and I mean that with the utmost respect.
Yeah.
You know, but well, then how old do you think she was in this? 40s?
I didn't even bother looking, which is funny because I looked up a bunch of ages, but I just didn't even think about it. I was just so impressed with her acting in this. I didn't even think about it. I would think if she won that award in 1958, that feels like an award they give to like a 19-year-old or something like that. Yeah. So she's probably like 40.
Interesting. She looked great, and I can't disagree. I thought she was amazing.
Yeah,
like if
especially
I was
when you're not expecting it or had no expectations.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
If
and one of the rare times where I was excited about something the first time, and then I rewatch it, and I'm just as impressed.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I would say for me, if I'm doing an all-star cruise of all like the best guests in a fantasy world, she might be on that cruise.
Well, and the thing is, too, it's like we talked about it when they kind of flubbed Julie's parents. It's like you want these crew-related characters to be hits. And, we got 4 shots at Doc's wives. I'm glad they got the first one right. So,
yeah, I thought she was great. She was great. Peter Marshall as creepy Todd Gardner, MD. Original host of Hollywood Squares. Listen to these years: 66 to 1981. That's insane.
It's a long time.
Wow. Birth name: Ralph Pierre Lecoq.
Well, you may also then know that his son, Pete Lecoq, played for the Royals.
Really? Also, fun fact about Mr. Marshall.
I'm choking to death on
he's
that
dying.
Lecoq fact.
Dying on Lecoq. Peter Marshall from Clarksburg, West Virginia.
There you go.
Which is surprising to me.
Why? Because he has no accent?
I don't know. I don't know where I thought he was from. It stuck with me. Peter Marshall's he gave me the creeps in this episode. He was really creepy.
Well, we can get into it now. We can get into it later. But so he's our 4th game show host.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Convy.
Yeah.
Businessman number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Monty Hall. Peter Marshall.
Yeah.
No, I thought Peter Marshall was really good because I think they wanted you to feel the way you feel about him.
What about Richard Dawson? Did we get him?
Oh, Dawson. Sorry, that's fine.
Dawson.
No,
yeah.
Yeah. So Monty Hall is by far the worst game show host.
Well, who's the best game show host? Is Monty Hall the best game show host? Worst guest?
Probably. I mean, it's the most to do, right? He had the most to do. I never saw the Hollywood Squares with Peter Marshall. I only saw it with John Davidson.
Yeah, that's when Jim J. Bullock had his own. That's when Joan Rivers was like center square forever.
Yeah, that's when they had to go to Shadow Stevens all the time. I think Peter Marshall. I think this was the best, most well-rounded acting performance by one of the game show hosts. Not my favorite. Dawson and Convy were outstanding, but I think for you, that was it's a nuanced storyline. It kind of is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it totally is. There's a lot going on in that story with him, with her, with that other lady, and then there's there's a lot.
And I kind of hinted at it.
I know.
That storyline brought us something that we've been waiting for 39 episodes.
100%.
Yep. So
relieved to see it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Weird that it was him, but
yeah,
so.
very weird. Um, Martha Ray as Irene Austin, nicknamed the Big Mouth. I remember her growing up. Paladin commercials. Take it from the Big Mouth. New Paladin Green gets tough stains clean.
I had to look it up. I was like, I
Yeah,
know her from a commercial. I kept
yeah,
thinking it was mouthwash. And, I was close, but
you were
yeah.
close. I remember that. I remember. Yeah, I remember asking like, "Whoa, why are you putting your teeth in a glass? Like, what's going on there?"
Yeah.
As a kid, but she has 2 stars in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. One for movies, one for TV. So I find that that's sort of
It
interesting.
seems unnecessary. You don't need two
Yeah, I don't.
stars. One person,
Well,
like,
plus I think I'm under the impression you sort of buy it.
buy them. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's like I
Yeah.
saw it. It was kind of cool, but at the same time, just like, well, if you
Yeah. I
buy it,
think
that's sort
usually
of
because it usually ties in with either your upcoming promotion or
yeah.
your demise. So,
We should we should look into it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? We should look
No,
into it.
I want one on the Canadian Walk of Fame.
Oh yeah. I want that one first. Yeah,
Yeah. We
excellent.
still don't know where it is, everybody.
Still
Let's
waiting.
go.
Um,
1979, people. Let's find
come
out
on,
where this thing
let's go. We
is.
got plenty of time to figure it out. Barbara Rush as Eleanor Gardner. Um, Tons of TV appearances. Like she's been in everything.
And she was really good, except there's one scene where she's ridiculous. So,
Yeah, she was. There was one she was sort of ridiculous. Yeah, but
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I thought. I mean, it was all. No, it wasn't. I was going to say it was all one note, but it's not one note.
No, and it
I
was
thought it was good.
like, I think there is 100%, probably this whole episode, but definitely that storyline, a version that we've seen where the acting isn't as good and they play the wrong notes and it's terrible.
100%.
Yeah.
Because
And these
the
people,
thing is, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, it's not like you had the greatest actors of all time. You had a game show
No.
host and Barbara Rush. Like it's and
And
Steubing. Listen,
and
Steubing was
Steubing
good
as
too.
well. Yeah, Steubing was good in it.
Yeah.
But I think this one, it's funny. And I know that there's one more guest star, but let me just say, I didn't hate the episode.
No.
I didn't hate it. I
No.
thought it moved quick. Was it complex? No, I don't need it to be complex. It's probably not
No.
my favorite, but it's definitely not one that was, it moved. I just want them to move.
Yeah.
And it was funny. And there were parts. It was fun.
It's funny because it's like I won't say expectations, but our grading scale has moved a bit in terms of things have been so bad where I feel like the last few episodes we've had multiple storylines that we literally can't stand like halfway through.
Yeah.
This one, the top wasn't as high, right? The ceiling wasn't high, but the floor was.
Yeah, the floor was high. Yeah, no, 100%.
And it felt a lot like one of those episodes from the first 10 of the last season. So no, I agree. Very enjoyable watch. Both times.
I agree. Last guest star of the week is Lyle Waggoner as Lance Wilson from the Carol Burnett show. I think Harvey Korman or I don't know. Tim Conway replaced him.
Yeah, well, apparently he was also the announcer. I always assumed
what happened there.
Well, I always assumed he was like around. Like they needed. Obviously, he was a good-looking guy, so they needed like. I feel like I saw him more in Carol Burnett than maybe I did. But again, he was great.
He was great
in this.
He
kind of a ridiculous role, but he nailed it.
I thought so. I thought he was great. He played Steve Trevor on Wonder Woman. Also, Steve Trevor Jr., I think it was. So they would have like flashbacks of like World War II stuff.
And he just had dark hair.
Yeah, pretty much. It was the same thing.
Sides.
Fun fact about Lyle Waggoner. The role of Batman came down to him or Adam West. And Adam West won. And I think he would have been really good at Batman. I think he would have been good.
Because you could have done you wouldn't have been as campy, but you could have done. I mean, he's doing campy.
It could have, sure.
Yeah.
But
that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And we're going to see him 2 more times before this project is over.
Excellent. No, we've got some returning champions in this thing, but in much different ways.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else before we get on the boat? Are we ready to do this?
No, I think I'm ready. Like I said, I'm excited to talk about one that I'm excited about.
All right.
So,
All right, let's get on the boat. Eleanor Gardner is greeted by the captain, admits it's her first cruise. Stubing offers give her a privately escorted tour of the port, but she says she'll ask her husband when he arrives.
wah wah.
Yeah, and automatically I'm like, this son of a bitch, Stubing again. Like,
Have you ever traveled with your spouse to an airport or boat or whatever
mm-hmm.
and not like gone together?
No.
That's odd, right? Like at an
Like
airport,
not at an airport. We've met at a destination like a vacation house when I was doing something else in different directions, but never at like
I've done that. But yeah, no, that's weird,
no.
right? So
it's real. Or why wouldn't you wait outside?
Yeah. Yeah, she just kind of rumbles in. And I think that's the first sign that these two have not been communicating properly. So
just Todd's just he doesn't give two craps. He's just late. Tardy Todd is what I call him because he's always late.
Did you he was late the other night. Did you see Stubing with more of a proper salute, it seemed like?
It's still there's still no reason for it. Like there's
I
not
agree,
he's just
but
like
that's not
it goes a little better. It was a little better.
we have two issues with the salute.
Yeah.
The form
The
and
form
and the
like
use of for
the
no
occasion.
reason.
Yeah. Like have the proper amount of fingers. It's a military custom. Like you can't just it's just not like that, stupid. But
I mean, he didn't do a lot of work this week, so
you didn't see him with two sticks. You didn't see him letting somebody else steer the boat. He did. No one called him to the bridge this week.
No, I mean he
Nothing.
basically has been downstairs the entire time.
I know. He set his sights on Eleanor
Very quickly
from the first
age
scene.
appropriate sites.
Yeah, good for him. Eleanor's husband is the author, scumbag Dr. Todd Gardner, who checks in wearing a gold necklace, a giant gold necklace, which just caught my eye.
So you know what kind of guy he is.
Yeah, oh, you do. When a woman named Nancy Bishop hears his name, she introduces herself to Dr. Todd. Just so we can catch everyone up, Dr. Todd wrote a book called The Now Marriage, which is about having like open marriages, open relationships for the sake of like strengthening your current relationship. Yeah, good luck, buddy. Good luck with that. Nancy says, what's
I was
that?
gonna say, like, Gopher spends a lot of time kind of loosening the jar lid there on Nancy.
Oh, yeah.
And as soon as she hears the dulcet tones of Todd Gardner, she like throws Gopher in the ocean.
When she hears the approaching vunt of Dr. Todd with his whatever he's wearing. Nancy says her cabin's right down the hall from Dr. Todd, and he like puts his arm around her and the two walk off, leaving his wife standing there. Like, what? You suck, Dr. Todd. Like, what?
We'll get to it when they have the conversation in the room, but like, why did you even go? These two should not have been. I understand why Todd's on the cruise.
Yeah, everybody knows why Todd's on the cruise. Yeah, look at me. I'm Todd. It's
I knew right away you were not going to enjoy Dr. Todd, but
no, Dr. Todd stinks.
But yeah, there's just a lot of conversations that needed to happen before this boat or on this boat or after this boat.
Or it should have just come with like an index card of like, okay, here's what's going on. This is why she said, but it was just, there's a lot. Yeah. Did he even say, I don't even think he said anything to his wife.
Like officially?
Yeah. I think she got on, she was waiting and he was like, oh, look at me. I'm Dr. Frickin' Todd. And then back to the thing.
I'll admit, I was surprised he actually acted on it. I thought they were doing the whole thing, but then when push came to shove, I didn't realize this was going to be a scathing takedown of open marriages. So.
I'm just saying this, right? Like Peter Marshall is not a sex bomb. All right. So
I know one person who disagrees. So.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, what lady's like, oh my goodness. I read your book. She just, come on, the guy, there's nothing it's just nothing. He looks like a 1970s version of like the penguin that Colin Farrell plays on show, on Max. Well, that's a deep, dark, windy road, but he just looks ridiculous.
Oh, he had a nice wardrobe. There's a lot of interesting shirts.
A lot of interesting shirts and a lot of soy sauce in that hair too. That is a jet black head of hair, sir.
Yeah, Nancy Davis is going to be sticking
right
to
up
the
her
wall.
alley. I like odd clothing, a larger gentleman, and soy sauce hair. Yes, sir. Irene Austin comes aboard, and she's running on the ship.
Frantic.
Very frantic. She has a friend coming as well. His name is Andy Hopkins. And Irene and Andy went to school together 40 years ago. When Andy heard Irene got divorced, he wrote suggesting the two meet on the cruise.
Andy's been working that for years.
No kidding. It's a long...
It is kind of forward to be like, hey, let's meet on a boat. How about we have a cup of coffee or something?
That's shady. It's like, come over and watch a movie. Or do you want to go get food? No, just come over and watch a movie.
Hey, you want to get you want to get in the middle of the ocean for like 4 days where no one can hear you scream?
Just see, rooms are soundproof. Yep. Just saying. I think I get the Flyers game.
I survived the Titanic.
I have courage. Go ahead.
Do you want to get into it?
Yeah.
So Julie now has her hair is grown out.
Her hair is grown out.
10 years. I'm gonna call them barrettes and assume that's correct.
Yeah.
Based on this and the cinematography and just quality of film presentation, I think we are caught up now.
Yeah,
to where we thought we were. Let's call it the scooping flashback episode. There were a couple episodes.
Yeah.
So in my mind, we are now linear, which probably means they shot a bunch at the end of last season, like we thought, and then took off like between September and December or something like that, for whatever reason. But I think we're now in the rest of the season. I will be stunned if we go out of order now. So, and I have no idea. So
we'll see. Plus, at this point, this thing's a juggernaut. What else are you watching on Saturday nights at 9 o'clock?
We looked it up a couple of episodes ago. It's the most watched television program on Saturday nights. And you're going to have big stars like Ray Bolger on? Forget it.
Stay home, watch TV, America.
I will.
Wait, did you say Ray Bolger? Yeah, I did.
The Ray
did
Bolger?
The Lion? No, different guy. The Tin Man? Oh, no. Ray hates it when that happens. Oh no.
Man.
Enter one of Doc's 4 ex-wives, Betty, aka Ginger from Gilligan's Island. So awesome. They seem friendly to each other. They weren't mean to each other. Doc introduces her to the crew. Enter Lyle Waggoner as Lance Wilson, which sounds like a completely ridiculous actor fake name, but and that's her new fiance. She mentions that Lance is incredibly wealthy and successful, and he's so good looking. She said, when it comes to looks, there's no comparison. Ooh, ow.
Yeah,
God,
man, Bricker is getting it right in the gut right away.
Lance scoops her up, picks her up, and they head to the elevator smooching.
So Doc introduces her as his ex-wife.
Yeah.
And he introduces her to Julie and Isaac. So based on those two things, I am going to assume this is Doc's first wife. That him saying 4 exes means 4.
Or is it his 4th wife?
Well, that's what I was wondering. But the fact that he had introduced her to Julie, we've established we think Julie's the newest member.
Oh, so that would be like 3 years. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
I don't know. They seem to have the best relationship. I feel like the 4th divorce wouldn't. I don't know. So that was my theory.
I could get behind that. Who knows? Yeah. But I wish they would all be on the ship at the same time. That would be awesome. Just one.
Like in a submarine?
That'd be... Now you're talking. I hope you wrote that down. Come on.
Isn't that the end of the show?
Wow. Sorry. Andy Hopkins knocks on Irene's cabin door. She opens and says, yes. Andy says, Irene. And she says, no, and slams the door in his face. Good for you, Irene.
Okay.
You don't want any part of that D-bag.
So let's get, I have a question. So
Yeah.
when Julie tells Irene, because Irene, here's the upshot is Irene she's nervous to see Andy because she's gotten old, thinks that he won't be attracted to her anymore. Forgetting the fact that he is also old, 40 years. No one's like, oh my goodness, you've really aged. They have room 348 and room 350, I think. But they're adjoining rooms with the door in the middle.
You know what's
I
up.
assume
Who
you
booked
have
those rooms?
Right. So, and as we see throughout the episode, those doors are paper thin, and they don't lock.
They don't lock at all. And there's only one door. It's not like in a hotel where there's two doors where both parties have to open the door. If somebody opens the door, you're in.
So we've seen the adjoining room bit with we turned out to be Leslie Nielsen, right? When he kept taking naps.
Well, and the dad and the girl, remember the whisper? Yeah, that whole thing. Right.
But they never even used that one.
No.
But this is like the most forward, and technically she's avoiding him, so it's like it's a poor booking choice there.
It is. You mean Althea?
Sorry, Althea.
Come on. Dr. Todd tells his wife Eleanor they should meet some of the very attractive people on board. Creepy Todd. She's not really interested. She said she's already married to a very attractive man. Who? You talking about Dr. Todd? Old soy sauce hair?
She's also already got a date.
I know.
Hemingway.
That's a good one.
And these people on this boat really love.
They love a book.
Old famous authors.
Yeah, because they're like, name a book. They just got to go with Charles Dickens.
Yeah, it's Dickens, Lord Byron. So,
what are you reading on deck? David Copperfield. That's kind of heavy. That's heavy.
I'm reading everything I had to read in Intellectual Heritage 2 at Temple University. So.
Yeah, I'm rereading Hard Times on this sunny day on the Lido deck.
I'm once again reading the Bible.
Again. This time new first, then old. It's kind of fun just to switch the timeline up a bit.
It's like Pulp Fiction.
It's great. Dr. Todd explains that his book is a theory to help couples, quote, circumvent the unnatural restrictions of monogamy. Okay. Good luck, Dr. Todd. Eleanor asked Dr. Todd if he's happy with her. And he says he is, but he doesn't see the harm in trying some new relationships.
Don't you, doctor?
Eleanor just kind of says, I won't stand in your way.
Right. She's like, I guess in a way she's being supportive in that this is a theory that he has. It is a book that he's written. You get the impression that he's never actually acted on it before, which makes this
no.
You think?
I think he wrote the book after he cheated.
Gotcha.
It's one of those things like, oh no, girl, it was medicinal. Let me tell you all about it in my new book.
It's a write-off.
It's a write-off because then he's just, this guy's just 100% bag of garbage. Dr. Todd, he's just doing this to just get with as many ladies as possible.
I will say that Eleanor was not transparent either, because if she had a problem with it, she should never got on the boat, or she should have said, "Yo, you do anything, we're out. I'm out."
I think she was holding on to this like it was like a trump card, meaning like she knew in the back of her head she had a built-in reason to leave this dude. But she just had to get to that point. What's that?
So this was like a test?
You're saying I don't think. No. I'm not saying that. I don't think that she thought like a Nancy would be on this cruise. I don't think she thought. I think in her head she was like, she's unhappy, whatever.
This handsome.
But she didn't think that maybe this is like, geez, we're on a cruise together. Like, can you?
Yeah. Yeah, just her dumb
Like,
luck. That plan would have worked if he hadn't met a chick in line. So
yeah, before he even got to his room and before he even spoke to you. It's that damn Pirates Cove. It just brings out the slut in everyone.
I
Look
mean,
at Isaac.
Peter Marshall has some self awareness at some point. He's like, I haven't spent any time with you. And you're like, no shit, you have not spent any time
Yeah.
with her. Jeez.
He's always he's goal oriented. That's what Dr. Todd is.
He's pumping, he's moving books.
He's moving books,
He already sold that one to Nancy. Nancy already had that book. So,
hardcover too. Now he's
yeah,
now he's
ice,
now
ice hardcover.
he's he's on the boat with a suitcase full of paperbacks for the people
He's
for the
doing the
for the
James
for the
Coco.
shop for the shop, a little store. We're actually going to be selling Dr. Todd's paperback books here soon as
How
well.
many? I thought it was odd that a
Mm,
50-year-old man in 1978 would be
yeah.
named Todd. That just didn't seem like a name that an old person would have
No.
50 years ago. So I
Yeah,
looked.
that doesn't. Yeah, what did you find?
So I looked it up. It's hard to find exactly, but Todd was the most popular Todd as a baby name ever was.
Right.
It was 1963. That's according to,
Really?
yeah, that's according to, I sourced it and I can't remember.
Well, this guy wasn't born in damn 19.
No,
This
he wasn't.
Peter
He was born
Marshall
like 1930. Yeah. So
maybe it's yeah, there's no.
point is that makes Todd more of a people our age's name, a little more 10
Fair
years
enough.
older or something
Fair
like
enough.
that.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
yeah, that credit is I will remember the name later. It's a real website, 1963, not 1929. Todd just didn't seem like a fun name to name your baby in the Depression.
No, it doesn't seem like a fun name. Not even as like a middle name. I mean, no
Well,
offense to the
yeah.
Todds out there.
Like, sorry, Mary Todd Lincoln. If you're honoring
Yeah.
Mary Todd Lincoln, that's fine.
Scott and Todd.
Right. No, there's plenty. There's Todd's.
Name another famous Todd.
Todd Runyon.
Did you just make that up?
Todd Runyon's a musician.
Oh, Todd Runyon.
Yeah, but
Todd Runyon?
he's like 70s, 80s, and he was like probably 20s or 30s, not 50s.
Todd Bridges.
Todd Bridges.
Former
Dr. Todd Gardner, famous author. The financier. That's enough Todds.
It's enough Todds. Okay.
Yeah.
Lance Wilson's on the Lido deck wearing I don't know what you would call this outfit. It's very, number one, it matches. Number two, it's very cruise appropriate. It's basically like a tank top and short shorts.
It looks like a uniform for a CBA basketball team.
Yeah, for like a Catholic rec league or some horrible.
Yeah.
He tells Betty he bought the clothes in the men's shop again. Here's the thing. Now, when he said men's shop, this is what got me. So we know about the store, right, where we got the pornographic magazines that Julie got. Like, we get a variety, baby furniture. I have everything.
Right. Yeah.
Men's shop.
Yeah, I guess it's like
everybody's wearing tuxes. I guess you got to have.
Yeah, I've been to some of those vacation spots where it's like they'll have 4 or 5 stores in there. I think it's probably something like that. Yeah, you're right. Like you go get your porn magazines and your gum.
Yeah.
And then if you're Florence Henderson, you're buying all your lady hats and stuff in the lady shop. And then this is probably one of the first time we've seen the men's shop get a lot of use.
He also bought a tuxedo. And he bought a watch and a new dress shirt, I believe.
Yeah, but he paid for the bow tie.
Irene shows up at Andy's door. She tells him that she's Irene's older sister, Althea, and that Irene went back to her ex-husband. Not a bad con, Martha Ray. I will say that. Not a bad con. Because it's not like she's emailing him pics.
Yeah, this whole storyline would have died if like MySpace was invented a few years earlier.
Like, how much is he going to really remember?
Why? Because he's old?
I mean, if they haven't seen each other in 40 years.
I just think, well, first of all, spoiler, He knew it was her.
Not the first. He didn't even see her. She didn't even
He
answer the
said he
door.
knew. He said he knew the whole time.
Of course, he said that.
Yeah, Scarecrow knows
It's
all.
stupid. I wish he would just slip all over the thing. Every time he comes into us, whoops, and just falls
On the ice hard floor.
the ice hard floor. On the Lido deck, I saw something interesting here in this shot. It's like a little girl crawling around the edge of the pool all by herself. I'm like, what? No,
There, it's probably an accident. That was not supposed to be there. Or do you think it's like a ghost?
they didn't care then. The seatbelts weren't even mandatory then. Nobody cared.
This was a good episode for. We got something coming up later. This was a good episode for just random shots.
I agree.
Going in.
Dr. Todd's at the bar with Nancy, and she buys him a drink. She tells Todd that she's doing postgraduate psychology work on the sexual revolution of the 70s. Oh boy. Which is how she came across his book. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He asked
She's
her to
in the
dinner.
biz. She made quite
she's in the
clear.
biz.
Yeah.
It's industry night.
Yeah, we're peers.
It's he asked her to dinner, saying he's free to practice what he preaches. Like, hey girl, I got a green card, not green card, green light.
All
Green light.
pass.
All pass. Thank you. They agree to meet for drinks.
It's like a Fogo de Chao situation. The
terrible.
weird thing is, I don't know how open marriages work, nor do I need to. But he just kind of went with the one girl. He didn't like spread it around.
Mm-hmm. Well, she kind of like aggressively pursued him too. She made it very easy for him.
I'm saying, like,
zero effort.
If one new experience strengthens relationship, wouldn't two strengthen it more?
Oh, that's why he's full of it. That's why he's full of it.
Yes. Full of soy sauce.
Yeah, full of soy sauce. Right around that time, we see Dr. Todd's wife. Eleanor walks in the lobby and asks him to go have a drink. He explains he already has plans. Can you imagine that?
No.
Your wife comes in, he's going to go have a drink, and you go, I already have a date to have drinks and dinner. So,
and this is like most things. Like, it's all great until it's not. And so I don't think Dr. Todd wanted to hear what Eleanor was saying. No. I don't think Eleanor thought he was going to actually act on it. Like, I think neither of them were actually listening to each other at all.
No.
But yeah, I don't think the expectation from Eleanor was that not only are you going to act on this, is you're going to do it like, we just got on the boat and you have 2 dates with this chick already. So
yeah, it's pretty
like, don't do that stuff on land.
Well, don't do it. She's right there. Like, if it's okay to do it, like, have a morsel of respect.
I would just like it to be when I'm home and I have all my stuff.
Oh, yeah. Or that.
You know, like, okay, you do whatever you want to do, but like, I got my stuff here. I'm on the boat.
Oh yeah, no. If I'm on the boat, don't do that to me, because you're right. No. You're right.
Now I gotta
it's basketball season. Like, listen, I need access to every NBA game every day.
What am I gonna do? I gotta go walk around Puerto Vallarta stubing.
What am I gonna read the USA Today again?
Like, they canceled Scuttlebutt after that. They busted the congressman.
And there's all the porn magazines are gone. Somebody bought all those. Boring. And it's too windy to play ping pong. And apparently skeet shooting's a thing of the past. That's very season 1.
I was disappointed we didn't see the golf thing again. What do you think we'll see?
Angry golf.
What will we see next? Golf or skeet? Or a third thing?
A third thing. Well, I don't know what the third thing would be.
Ping pong?
Ring toss. I don't know. I don't know what you could horseshoes. I don't know. I don't know. I
like, are we gonna get like a pool volleyball game or something?
Badminton.
Oh, badminton on a boat would be worse than any of the things they've been doing.
I would think.
Flying.
Yeah, I don't know how that would. It's French night, Mike, in the Coral dining room. Parlez-vous, baguette because they're
Like,
everywhere.
like out of nowhere,
Just poof. It's
no
French.
introduction. There's a
What?
sign. Like, and you got the waiters in the gondola outfits.
Yeah. Well,
And that's pretty
everyone,
much it.
apparently
No
somebody
one,
bought a bunch of striped shirts.
nobody references anything French. There's not like a ham-fisted French meal or anything.
Nothing.
It's like,
Bonjour. There's no.
did they forget parts of the show? like,
I do think it's funny that they made all the waiters dress like mimes. It's a
yes.
little ridiculous. Like that. Is that really what we think French? Is that we're doing just to really drive the point home? Like, oh, look at their French. Look at their hats. Look at their
and we had
striped.
the music. Like, you couldn't do Where's Isaac with a French drink, or you couldn't have just had somebody having dinner and they order something French.
Right.
Like, what was the point? Did they accidentally order a bunch of French costumes and have to use them?
Maybe somebody had a big old office party and they had leftover French food and they were like, well, shit, throw it on the table, roll it. I don't know. It was weird. There's no
Montreal
purpose for
Expo
this
shirt because I don't have a lot of French stuff.
Well, the weird thing is, it's like we don't get a Christmas cruise, but we get a French themed dinner on a cruise.
It's not just that. This is our second French themed plot, or sorta. Like, your girl with the perfect nose.
Yeah.
They were French. Let's spread it around. We have, like, I don't know. It's 1979. How many countries do we have? 40.
I mean, more than one other. That's for sure.
Yeah. How about the boot?
Italian night. Exactly.
Yeah. Hey.
Spanish night. Oh.
Well, we had Mexican. We had Mexican night the other day.
Yeah, but they're going to Mexico.
That's true.
Isn't that kind of? Isn't that a lot of Mexico in one ship? I mean, you got
we're going to France soon. Listen, this boat is going to be another spot at some point. We're going to have to get used to that. So
that's true. Betty and Lance have been invited to sit at the captain's table. Lucky them. They run into
real
Doc.
Star-studded table.
Real star. Terrible table this week. They run into Doc on the way to the table, and Betty says, Lance owns several large hospitals, just in case Doc gets tired of dealing with the quote seasick and sunburned
thing. Damn. I also liked when Betty asks how to get to the captain's table, and he's like, "Well, first you have to be a sailor." Like, he was just doing it.
You gotta love Doc. Like, Doc was
great old school Doc episode.
Great old school Doc. Less lecherous Doc too. Like, this felt like a comfortable Doc.
Yeah, this was definitely like the Doc. He didn't quite Dean Martin because he had to take some hits, but like, it's that version of Doc we enjoy. So,
it's fun, and I don't mean to skip ahead, but I like this episode because I think it left the crew in a better spot at the end of it, if that makes sense. Like, it made me feel better,
which is rare.
Yeah, it's super ultra rare. Like, that doesn't.
Although I agree with you, but also it's like 2.5 cast members.
Oh yeah, it's not.
Involved. Yeah.
But it's such a departure from the normal. Yep. What we're left with at the end of an episode, and we're just numb and confused and angry that we have to watch it at least one more time.
Yep.
Irene, who is now posing as Althea, sits down to dinner with Andy. Tries to kind of do a little flirting with him to make him forget all about her sister. Andy says it won't be easy because he's been in love with Irene for a very long time.
Understated.
How about a little more Norman and a little less Scarecrow? A little more worst guest.
A little more Fell? You want a little more Norman Fell?
Give me a little more Fell, sir.
I mean,
that's sacrilege.
I really thought, now I will say this, I totally skipped one scene in my head the first time when I was landing on this understated, subtle Folger, but we're not there yet. So.
No, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Boy, I broke that scene down too. That's it was painful. Eleanor is at a dinner table alone while she watches her husband. I don't know
Yeah.
what he's doing. He's like chewing on Nancy's fingers or something. Her
Yeah,
fingers are in
this
his
isn't.
mouth.
Yeah, that's
This
bad
isn't
for everybody.
tacky.
Like I feel like there needs to be. Did you ever break up with somebody and you kind of like had like, okay, well, you don't go to this bar, or I won't go to that bar, or that kind of thing. I don't know, like ground
That's
rules or something.
funny. That would mean
There
that there
gets
was a conversation, Mike.
that's sorry. Anyway, there there should have been some ground rule established, like,
Hmm.
hey,
Lines of demarcation, basically.
don't suck the enamel off this girl's
Yeah, like right in
nail.
front of me.
Like,
Yeah.
also, Eleanor shouldn't be sitting right there staring. Like that's not good for anybody either. So
Well, I just wonder who was there first. Like, did he sit where he sat because Eleanor sat where she sat? Like, is that his thing? Like a Picasso. You know the thing
I'm
of
gonna,
Picasso? He used to invite like his
yeah.
wife and his three girlfriends to go to the same place for lunch, and he'd sit across the street and watching them all sitting in there, not knowing who the other one is. Is it one of those where he's like, it's not about Nancy. It's about him doing what he's doing in front of his, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if
So you
that's
think
what it is.
it's Dr. Todd Picasso?
Like Dr. Todd Picasso.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. That's
The
funny.
I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm being naive here. I feel like Dr. Todd at some level was so like dense to the ramifications of what was going to happen here that I don't think he would have done something like that. So I do think this is more Eleanor walked in and sat down, or it was just one of those dumb luck things where it's like there's somebody in the table in between you, or I would say I didn't sense maliciousness from Dr. Todd in any of his actions. I think he actually believes this junk that he's saying.
See,
And I think he's trying to get some strange.
but I think that's all it is, right? I think, it's the 70s. He's probably a little high right in that book. But the bottom line is with that is I think he's all for it if it's him, right?
Well,
She didn't
clearly,
even do anything.
yeah.
Like she didn't have like Stubing's fingers in her mouth or anything crazy like that,
No,
right?
he
So
just
like,
tastes like tasty cakes.
yeah, it's just like donuts. It's just like sweet. He's got crumbs from like an Entenmann's crumb cake. No, but that's what I think. I think all of a sudden when the shoe wasn't even completely on the other foot,
Yeah.
when the other foot got near a shoe, he was like, "Oh, wait, 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 wait,
Yeah,
wait." He's totally selfish. Like,
they did Todd no favors here. Like he did not
well,
look
it's sort
good
of an
in that at
incomplete
all.
character. With as much as I didn't like Todd, they kind of painted Todd in one color. Like there wasn't
Yeah.
Todd
Yeah, they
sucked
didn't
basically.
give him the awareness, the self-awareness to like the only self-awareness he has is kind of after he realizes she's been crying all night and he's like, "Oh, do you want to
Right.
have breakfast?" But
Yeah, he's
yeah,
just an idiot. What? I know what time it is. What? Oh, I sure
yeah.
am. Huh? He's just. Mm.
All I
I knew
know is
some.
open marriage or not, if you come in at 4 a.m. to your wife's room, that is ballsy, doctor.
Yeah, but it's almost going. But it's so. Here's the thing. It's so ballsy. But if you're committed to the bit, you know what I mean. If he's committed to like, number one, I don't think he feels any of that stuff. But if he's committed to that thing, then he's gonna come in at 4. So it's almost like he has to. He
Yeah.
was probably done hanging out with Nancy at like 2. But he was like, well, I can't come back at 2. Need to come back at 4. Dr. Todd doesn't enter early. Like,
Be funny if he was like he wrapped up dinner at like 6:45 and that's it. He's been sitting outside for
he
hours.
fell asleep under a table somewhere. He's on that seat that Pepito was hiding behind.
There's soy sauce all over the
Just all over his head.
deck. It's
What's going on? They're like, I don't know who this guy is. He's got soy sauce in his head.
where Vince finally gets okay and he slips on this like
Come on.
oil slick.
Poor Vince. So Eleanor's at a dinner table while she watches her husband eat the fingers of Nancy. Steubing stops to say hello, sees that that scumbag Todd's with another lady, and looks back at Eleanor. And now Meryl is thoroughly confused, but he's got to go. because it's dinner time. I got to go. I would love to ask you a follow-up question, but it is time for the croissant. Like,
I didn't even put that together. That's where he was going.
he's so hungry. Come on.
The Stubing bat signal appears to be when an older woman is having trouble in their relationship. That's when he comes in to save the day.
It's like somebody needs you to
Vincent
somebody
Price?
needs you to overstep.
Yeah. Because he was very respectful. And I will say this about Stubing, more than maybe any time we've ever seen him woo anybody, was very above board. He was very honest.
100%.
He said, I don't like this. I do like this. He was a good
respecting the fact that she was married.
It was a good Stubing episode, man. It really was, which I will say I wasn't expecting it from Jump Street. As soon as he started hitting on her on the deck, I was like, I got worried, man. But no.
I'll say this. Impressed with you this week, Meryl.
Yep.
Very impressed. And I don't throw that out there.
And honestly, it's hard to describe, but there was the balance of the gravitas and, he definitely was I have morals here, right? But it didn't come off as preachy or
no, it was
overbearing. It was just, it was weird. It was weird that they did such a good job because it just feels like that is such a random character. But
it was welcome. It was so welcome to see. Like, that's what we've been. There has to be a level set on on his morality.
So what the hell is he going to do next week? Because
we
know every time he has a good episode, it goes terribly
Stubing
wrong.
brings a live tiger on board. Like, no, Meryl, we were on board, brother. Oh, boy. At the captain's table, Betty making up stories and bragging about Lance. And we see Gopher trying to help Doc come up with something here. Because I think Gopher's just like...
Do you think that was a true story? That Doc was trying to tell? Do you think he actually did save Howard Hughes?
Pieces. I think there's just...
Yeah. He's flailing.
He's just flailing. He's throwing anything out. I don't... Who knows?
As we said, the elite captain's table dinner, which is Ginger, Lyle Wagner, Stubing, Gopher, and Doc.
A very small captain's table. This week they're at a tiny round table. No, there's like nobody at the table.
It's a crew. It's a crew dinner.
That's basically, it's a crew dinner with an ex-wife and Lance.
Crew's ex-wife and his actor. He's working too.
Yeah,
people are working.
He's on the clock. Yeah. Only Betty isn't working. Well, she's sort of working. She's sort of.
She's working a plot against Adam Bricker.
Eleanor's crying alone by the pool. Stubing comes up to console her. Very nicely done. He kind of says, he sees what's going on. He just wants to offer support. Let's go, Stubing. And he could have screwed it up right here by going, let's go back to my cabin and look at a book. No, Meryl, but he didn't.
He said that he has, he's offering a shoulder to cry on. And then what I thought was the worst acting that Barbara Rush did in this whole thing. She's like, I'd like to take that shoulder now. But
it was bad.
That was the only time she did that.
Yeah, that was bad. Well, it's funny because when she said that, I'm thinking, I'm not giving somebody I don't know my white jacket to get questionable fluids from your face all over it. Are you out of your mind? No, I bet you would like that shoulder. You better go find one. Go find Todd.
You can't cry.
Maybe Todd doesn't have shoulders. That's what it is. He doesn't have shoulders.
Todd would melt.
Todd doesn't have time for that. Todd's covered in all sorts of...
He'd melt like they opened up the Ark of the Covenant. Which is
Dr. Todd is covered in every fluid except his wife's tears. What a scumbag. Eleanor explains she's encouraging her husband to see Nancy because Dr. Todd says it'll help the marriage. Stubing says he disagrees. We get the fantastic shoulder line.
Yep. But no, I liked it because it was like, that makes sense, right? They're playing Stubing age appropriate.
Yes, they are.
He is, a man of older morals, which is okay.
Right. That's right.
It's not like he's like, yeah, I'm really into book burning and stuff.
No, no. He's not saying disparaging words. He's being very respectful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
He's
really
not
is.
being a white knight by going like, yeah, screw that guy. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
gaslighting.
like we said, it was a well done takedown of something. Probably came off as judgy. I don't think they tried to give open marriage a fair shake, which is okay.
No, they didn't give
But
it a shake.
but
Yeah,
it
but
wasn't like a cartoon,
no,
you know,
no,
in
no, no. I
terms
agree.
of that. So
Althea, which let's not forget, that's really Irene, is dancing with Andy, and the two clear the floor. All right,
not that much though. It
Mike,
wasn't that clear.
this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This ex scarecrow has got to make such a scene. He can't just like have a nice dance. He's got to be the center of attention. And he does it again when they dance later.
But I
Look at
thought that was more
me. Look
about
at
the
me.
people who decided to stop dancing and just make a circle like it was a West Virginia wedding.
Oh, but I feel
Like,
well, yeah, I don't but I felt like that's what he was going for.
I mean, I don't think he was a wallflower. I think he appreciated it, but I do think it was odd that, like, first of all, this dance floor again is like big in the front and then really tight by the band. Like,
Super tight back there. It comes to a V. Like, why
yeah,
are we dancing back here?
we got to do better spacing, guys. But I did think it was unusual. I understand your point. I don't think Andy Hopkins was like, "Oh no, don't look at me."
Well, it's not like it was like the Fifth Dimension doing another poolside number. Like I'd
Yeah,
gather around to watch that. It's
right.
just
It is
this
odd
guy.
that people were just watching these two olds dance, unless they thought they were going to pass away.
Yeah, but they weren't. Well, that's true.
They weren't that old.
Like
They
they
were only
weren't
like 60.
exceptional.
They're
They
like
weren't even like
62 years old. It's not that old.
they weren't even good dancers. Like they weren't even like, oh, look at Ginger Rogers and that other guy. No, it wasn't those. It wasn't them. It was just weird.
Did
I
you
think
want more?
it was this rider.
Did you want more Danny Terrio?
I mean, that guy was a little ridiculous. Or another scene of Gopher and his disco dancing.
I mean, at least it wasn't disco dancing, but it was more dancing. We just get a lot of
Just,
dancing anymore.
just weird.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Andy said he hoped to give Irene his fraternity pin when they met up. So now in my mind, right? So just go with me on this. He's got the pin in his hand, okay? Like needle out in the back or however it's going to go in. And and he offers it to Althea, who really is Irene. She says she can't possibly takes the pin and hopes that Andy will find someone special. Andy pins it on Althea. In my mind, he's now plunging this metal spike into Martha Ray's chest. I'm like, oh my God, he's still pushing. And it was a thumbtack. Like, what's going on?
You know how many layers an old woman on a boat is wearing. There's no way he's getting the skin.
I just don't think you should lead needle first. Like, here you go. Here's the pin. I don't know why. It just killed me watching it. I'm
You know
like,
what it
you
was?
just like act like it goes in sideways.
You know what it was?
What's up?
Needle in a haystack.
Ooh. Oh, that sucks. That's terrible. That sucks. I wonder if he always leaves like a piece of hay, like in his dressing room when he leaves it, just like one little.
There's one for you.
I would like to show up and ask him to. Oh, sir, will you please sign my piece of hay?
I didn't even think to look. Were there any like candles on the tables in the dining room? He would have been running from those things.
Nervous. Good
Yeah.
Lord, I'm not swimming tonight. Oh man.
Ray Bolger only swims in Russian pools because
Always,
there's no
yeah.
candles.
In the dark. I don't trust light either. Dr. Todd and Nancy are outside talking about relationships. And then we, ladies and gentlemen, we get to witness the awkward smooching style of Peter Marshall. Oh
Yeah.
God.
So,
This guy, wow. I wrote, if there was a stubby for smooch of the season, this would not be a nominee.
no, this is the smooch that brought you Pete Lecoq.
Oh, yeah, this is terrible. The Marshall family called him and they're like, you have to change your name back to Lecoq.
I'm sorry. So,
You are not a Marshall. Marshalls don't smooch like that. Meanwhile, Captain Steubing and Eleanor are dancing in the coral dining room. Oh. Irene, as Althea said, she had a lovely time with Andy. He asked Althea to give Irene something, and he gives Althea a smooch. And
There you go.
smooth ass Andy says,
That's right.
"You can keep it for yourself."
Yeah.
Look at him.
Put
Then
that
he
one in
puts
your
a piece of
pocket.
hay in her mouth.
I'll miss you the most of all, Althea.
Oh, he's just everywhere with that. Just everywhere. Uh, I just want to see him slip and fall once. Give us one last pratfall, Ray. No, no, my doctor said no.
I was so mad because I knew this was his last episode, and I was like, when they were walking out that door, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
it was something.
that's why I'm going to be Ray Bolger for Halloween later this week. So
But this Ray Bolger or Horace McDonald Ray Bolger?
Horace McDonald Ray Bolger.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be, oh, Isaac. I'm just walking around with a glass of orange juice in my hand,
with a little splash of vodka to kill the taste.
just yelling at people. Oh, Captain Steubing.
I was so mad. I just wanted that Bolger back. A, because I enjoyed it, and B, because you hated it.
Oh God, he was awful. Just my least favorite everything. It's 4 a.m. Mike.
Do you know where your husband is?
You know where Todd is? No shoulders, creepy Todd. 4 a.m. Dr. Todd comes back, and Eleanor is awake. He says, "You've been crying." Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. He tells her that he knew it would be difficult for her to control her feelings of rejection. This guy's a wizard.
Yeah. He's very clinical.
Very clinical. He's just he asked to have breakfast the next morning or like in 2 hours.
Probably open now, dude.
You're not going to be awake. Good Lord. Coming back at 4
Dr. Todd doesn't sleep.
Jeez, he's on so many like methamphetamines. It's the 70s. He became
Bloody
a doctor
Marys.
just so he could prescribe things for himself.
Bloody Marys, blueberry waffles, the works. Okay, buddy, calm down.
Yeah, settle. You're on a cruise.
I knew you were just
included.
blowing lines off Nancy Davis like 2 hours ago.
I'm not hungry now, but I will be. I will be. Look at my muscles. She says she already has a date. And we go to break.
Yeah, he did not take that. He didn't flip out, but he was like, I wasn't expecting that.
It's very much a goose and gander type situation. He is not cool with this.
You got to think, like, if you're Dr. Todd, you're walking back to that hotel or that room, you know, you've just sired a younger lady outside of your marriage with your wife's permission, as far as you know.
And
you
bunch
are king of the world. Oh. And your book, your best-selling book, is what got you there.
You're telling everyone what you're doing.
You can write it off as research. You are the king of the world, and you walk in, and your wife doesn't want blueberry pancakes, and has a date tomorrow. Oh,
and you're crying? Oh, come on. The real Dr. Todd would have been like, Christ, and turned around and just I'll wait by the pool for.
Who else wants to expand my relationships?
He's going to go sleep by Paul Williams by the pool. Lord. Oh, man.
You know who needed to run into was Penny.
Oh,
Corn Dog Stubby winner Penny from last year.
She'd have been about it.
Yeah. This was fine. Nancy was a fine lady, but like
I don't know if Penny would have. I like to think Penny's not lowering.
No, you're right. Penny didn't like the brainiacs. Yeah, Penny didn't like the brainiacs. Right. Yeah. Penny.
We're back from break, and it's Steubing. He is Eleanor's breakfast date. Good for you, Steubing. He invites her to walk around Puerto Vallarta, which again, isn't he the captain? And they both start singing La Cucaracha.
Yeah, that was weird. What's in those glasses?
And some of those beverages at those Diddy parties. That's what's going on this boat. Like, I don't know. That was weird. Anytime somebody sings, somebody feels the need to join them in singing. It's the weirdest.
So how do you think this works? Like she indicates that she did not have the date planned when she said she did. So she had to contact Steubing. I know he's easy to find. But
He's easy to
like,
find. He's the guy standing around doing nothing. He just does nothing.
hey, are you free for breakfast and also the entire day? So,
Yeah. I have to
sure.
be back for afternoon donut, though. I got to be back from Puerto Vallarta at 3 because I have to make the not recorded announcement for everyone to get back on the ship. Yeah. So we see Andy out for a morning trot. Mike, there's some things here I'd like to say. This is quite a sweatsuit.
Yeah.
So enter Irene Althea. Andy tells her something about nobody looks like they did in college, right? So it's your first. And Andy says he's going to go grab a shower before he melts. And here's where my 3 questions are about melting.
Okay.
Is this due to the lack of wicking technology in 1979, perhaps?
I mean, he's got like 40 layers on.
Jeez. Is a sweatsuit in 1979 called a sweatsuit because it keeps the sweat in?
I told him to wear rubber suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, is polyester breathable?
I mean, not that polyester.
Right?
That
There's
looked like,
no.
yeah, he was dressed like when you're sick. Oh no, he was dressed like on a
Like he's cutting
sitcom
weight, dude.
where he was dressed on a sitcom when the heat goes out and you have to wear all your clothes.
Yeah, he just looks completely.
Yeah.
There's no exercise being done by Ray Bolger right now. He's just and 1 and 2 and 3 and like, what do you do? What
Yeah, he just does like a couple lunges.
Just a couple like.
What was that? A minute scene? Not even a totally unnecessary scene. That almost felt like Ray Bolger's got to get in some exercise.
Yeah, I didn't understand that scene at all. That was the one scene where I'm like, what?
Yeah, that just felt like we need something here. Ray, go work your magic for 30 seconds.
Well, again, and the next scene, there's no setup for this scene. Betty's in Doc's office. What?
Yeah. And he's looking at her eyes.
Looking in her eye, and he waves his finger over it and goes, how does that feel? And she says her eye feels wonderful. And then she starts rubbing all on Doc.
The only thing I can think is because, and I don't even know if we actually clearly mentioned this at the beginning, but she hires Lyle Wagner to portray her fiance to make Doc jealous. And so my guess is she goes to Doc's office with this made up eye thing. They're both fully aware of what's really happening, but I think that's probably what it is. But it is weird. It is weird they didn't spoon feed it to you.
Yeah.
Again, we're a little gun shy, right? We're a little beaten down.
We're a little scared.
Right. But I mean, I think that's just in a normal show. That's what it would be. So I think that's what it is.
Okay. That makes sense. Lance busts in. And he's very jealous, or he appears to be very jealous. But keep in mind, he's an actor.
Acting.
Doc says, "I take things out of ladies' eyes all the time."
I'm a doctor.
So funny.
This was just great. Their back and forth was because Lyle Wagner is ridiculous anyway. In this whole thing,
he's just
really enjoyable,
crazy.
Yeah.
Lance says Betty's eye is engaged to him. And that while Doc may be good at taking things out of eyes, he's good at putting things into eyes, namely my fists. That's a long explanation about I'm about to punch you. Like before I do, let me read these 3 or 4 sentences first.
Love it.
Once upon a midnight. Betty gets between Doc and Lance, which I always thought was a really dumb move. Like whenever a lady gets between 2 dudes that are about to fight, I'm just like, what? That's the dumbest thing.
The theory is that you won't swing over the lady because you don't want to hit her, right?
Oh, no. It makes me madder. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, I guess you're against me too. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. No, I just think it's just really dumb.
It's me against the world.
Doc threatens to punch Lance's lights out. Lance flinches. And Doc just sprints out of the office, which made me laugh out loud because I was like, good for you.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a Weasley move. Doc's a lover. Doc's not a fighter. It's not his fault. Lance playing the part of the jealous lover. But since he hasn't finished the scene, this was a weird. I haven't finished the scene, so I can't leave.
Classic acting rule.
Oh, laying it on. End result is they both leave Doc's office together.
Yeah. Shout out to Lady Macbeth.
Unexpected to get a Billy Shakespeare reference,
Yeah.
and we
Always,
see
there's always
Doctor
room for Macbeth, I guess.
always room. We see Dr. Todd in our favorite bar, the Pirates Cove. Uh, Dr. Todd is wearing
This is bad.
um, it's something you might see in a TV movie about a cult leader. It's basically what I wrote down.
He's dressed. It's a
It's a
little too
very
close to Jim Jones for this
little
time,
Jim
I think.
Jones. It's a little. It's from the Koresh spring line. It's just
Yeah.
really. Ooh.
Yeah.
Eleanor and the captain enter the Pirates Cove laughing, carrying paper flowers and some sort of vase, and they're singing La Cucaracha again.
One song, Merrill.
Just
Playing the hits.
playing the hits. Eleanor introduces the captain to Dr. Todd. Dr. Todd is none too pleased. Doesn't say he's not too pleased, but he's none too
Yeah,
pleased
but
about this.
his facial reactions when he's not happy are not subtle.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Imagine if he's watching Eleanor like eat the captain's fingers the night before. You know, he would have flipped out. Nancy comes in and wants to watch the sunset with Dr. Todd.
She lays it
Fine
on
by.
pretty thick too, because she calls him
Oh, God.
lover.
Yeah, it's a little.
Yeah,
It's a
like
little.
Nancy
She
knows
was
what
kind of
she's
digging
doing.
it too. Nancy's
Oh, she knew what she was doing. Yeah.
nothing but trouble. Steubing says he and Eleanor are going to watch it from the bridge.
Power move.
That is a power move.
There's
There's a
plenty of room. There's plenty of room up there to watch.
plenty of room. We can only hold two people and one small wooden wheel. That's a weird. There's a moonlight party on the Lido deck, and there is quite a spread here going on. I see meatballs and ham and
Yeah, so they do like an establishing shot. It's this waiter walking in the background, and he must go past like 30 people and a chef. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening.
There's a lot going on in this.
Why wasn't this the French thing?
You know, it's funny in retrospect. That French night was weak. They didn't show us any food. They didn't show us a ham.
No, or a French ham, or a French horn,
or French anything, or a French fry for that matter. I didn't even see Fanta.
Yeah.
No Orangina, no French dip sandwiches, nothing.
It's one of the more inexplicable things. Like, why did they have that?
Well, why not show them eating food if it's French?
Or just not have it, one or the other. But
well, they just show bread.
Yeah, it's just baguettes. Plenty.
I guess you have to do it the first night so all the bread doesn't go bad.
That's true.
Unless you're baking bread on premises. Maybe they have a French chef that was there one night. I don't know.
They seem to run through chefs like
they really do. Like something through a goose. I don't remember the rest of it though.
Like a knife through French butter. Butter.
But we didn't even see any butter at French night. So I don't know. It was just dry bread. Day-old bread.
Literally, just like they are always shoving in food references. Just say, oh, you know, it looks really good. This French dressing.
I'm fine with it. I'm totally fine with it.
That's all I
Look
need.
at these French cut green beans.
Right.
I'm in France.
French cuffs that I'm wearing.
Right. French is mustard.
Why was Victor French not there?
Wait, why is Frenchie Martin entering? Is Dino Bravo's here? Good Lord. He's selling bootleg cigarettes too. Andy and Althea, really Irene, are dancing again in a look at me, look at me, look at me way. And Andy says he loves being with Althea and that he's forgotten all about Irene.
I don't care if I ever see her again.
Ugh. Andy asked Althea, boy, they'd love to marry people on his boat, to marry him.
I mean, they're old, to be fair.
You should say yes to everything at that age. You know, you want to have dinner? Yeah, sure. Yeah. What do you at the most? How long are you going to be married? It's not like and how many years are going to be good? Because you're going to deteriorate. What do you got? 10 years?
They're in their early 60s.
Yeah, but life expectancy was shorter in 1970. So I bet. So I mean, it's not like they're. I want to spend the best years of my life. It's.
Irene's got to deal with her pants being on fire.
That is true. That is true. Her pants are literally ablaze.
Yeah. That's no
We
way
go
to
to
start
break
a relationship, Irene,
based on lies.
based on lies.
So dumb. We go to break. We're back. Nancy tells Dr. Todd that she has plans for when he's finally free of his wife. And Todd is very surprised, saying he has no intention of being free of Eleanor.
Did you not read the book, Nancy? Like,
She's just all horned up, man. She doesn't care.
fine,
She
that's
read the title
fine.
of the book.
The now marriage.
That's it. Oh, okay.
So it's one of two things. Either she didn't read the book and she's weirdly into Dr. Todd, or is this like a bestseller? Is she trying to bed like
Oh, it's a
Dr.
star type
Spock
thing.
or something? Like, this is.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's a little from column A and a little from column B.
But it was interesting that was the tack they took, is that she basically was like, well, are you getting a divorce? And that just didn't jive if she is in fact
No.
in the business.
Yeah, that didn't.
If anything, he should have been the one
Right. Like,
looking after her
it would have made so much more
and
sense.
getting shot down, right? Yeah.
And then going back to the wife after the shoot
And then getting
down,
shot down again.
and then shot
Yep.
down again. So then you're
Yep.
like, now you get double comeuppance, which
Yeah.
I'm all for.
Yeah. Doubling our comeuppance total from the first 38 episodes.
Exactly. Dr. Todd tells her, oh God, about hurt being part of the process and experiencing emotional pain rather than suppressing it. And Nancy stands up, pours a drink in his lap, and says, suppress this. Oh, she really does. Don't.
Yeah. Just absolutely. Just blasts him.
Good for you, Nance. We see Steubing and Eleanor by the railing, and she thanks him for being a good friend.
Travel back the world and back again.
I was very worried here. I'm like, Steubing's he's going to screw this up. Captain says he'd like to be more, but that he's old-fashioned, which we mentioned, and that he respects marriage. Eleanor says, I wish that stupid Dr. Todd felt that way. I'm paraphrasing. Lance and Doc are in Lance's cabin. Lance brings him in the cabin, and he gives a big soliloquy from a movie and accidentally admits that he's an actor.
Couldn't even tell if it was accidental.
I don't know. It was I think he wanted it to seem like it was an accident, but it was a purposeful accident.
This was that thing where it's like, we have to get from A to C.
Dude,
we're all having a good time. You people don't need us to do a whole thing here.
They didn't need this. He accidentally discovers he actually loves Betty.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Would you say would you say the Betty storyline, where is that with you in ranking of the three? It's number 3 for me.
In terms of quality, or where it's like ABC in the
quality? If you had to, where does it rank amongst the other two? Or in the episode?
Definitely ahead of the Irene. I really liked it. Honestly, I didn't have a huge problem with the Todd thing, and that did get a lot of shine. I almost would think they were kind of 1 and 2 together, like 1 and 1A.
Yeah, I liked it.
I thought the performances were really good.
I thought the performances were good. I think the only thing that got me was this crash course on okay, how do we get Lance and her together? I felt like they just kind of mishmash, but that's fine.
That's fair. So I guess to your point, the more quality storyline is Dr. Todd, the more enjoyable storyline is Doc.
100%.
But the fact that we can have that conversation, and it's not like the third thing was bad, it was just whatever.
No. No. We know bad.
Yeah.
We know bad. This isn't bad.
Yeah. At no point do my notes say I hate this, I don't care.
No, not at all. I was fine with it. Later in the cabin, Dr. Todd tells Eleanor that I've decided that it's over with Nancy. How brave.
He didn't come in as hot on that as I expected.
I thought he would come in a little hotter on it too. I've decided that.
Right.
He said, and the whole experiment was to enrich their marriage. Eleanor says, there's no marriage to enrich. Bam, and hands him divorce papers. Just
bang.
See ya.
Probably from a Puerto Vallarta lawyer.
Oh, yeah, shady. Probably won't hold up in an American
Won't stick
court.
in court.
No,
No.
no. They're divorced as long as they stay in international waters.
So when do you think she made that decision? Is it
I
when
think
he
she made
comes
the
back at
decision.
4 a.m.? Is it when he leaves for drinks? Is it before they even get on the boat?
I think she made the decision before she even got on the ship.
Okay.
And I think Stubing was the one that gave her the confidence to actually say what she wanted to say.
So is there a world where she's going into this with a completely different thing where it's like Dr. Todd has to win me back, but I'm certainly not going to tell him that.
Oh, I don't think it was winnable. I think this whole cruise was just for them to get away and they could actually talk. But
But they never
horn
did.
dog Todd couldn't even keep it in his pants for 2 seconds.
Yeah, they spent 4 minutes together on the cruise.
Doc lies to Betty, saying he's married and expecting a baby. Wait. Then he has 3 stepkids. And he's supporting his brother-in-law, who's an archaeologist who can't dig.
Can't find work.
Can't find work. He has an arthritic mother-in-law he's supporting. And she's just like, she just kisses him on the cheek and goes right back to Lance. She's like,
Doc,
nah.
When Doc says, I'm married again, and I think they did like a little bang on the piano. It's just like, they're getting really good with that little stuff.
I agree.
In a lot of different ways. But like, it's funny because we have the Bricker bang on the piano a few weeks ago for a much more dramatic effect. But
yeah. I like the way
they're putting, you know what it is? They're putting some effort into it.
Yeah, I agree.
Actual effort into this stuff.
Which is so appreciated.
Because
this is all we want. It's all we didn't need much. I'm a huge fan of this episode.
Yeah.
Althea, who's really Irene, calls Andy and says she can't marry Andy because it wouldn't be fair. Andy just opens she is like, he can hear you through the wall. Why are you on the phone?
So
what
Andy,
are you doing?
Wait. So
it's so
the phone rings, which is ridiculous because you're right. This door is paper thin. Andy answers the phone like he's in Tiger Beat. Like Hello? He just kind of leans up against.
Dude, he thinks he's so cute. Hello.
Irene, you never gave me my answer on a wedding proposal.
He just thinks he's just the cat's pajamas, just enraging.
I will say this. I knew that's how that was going to end in terms of he was going to call her Irene.
Had to be.
Like, you knew that from Jump Street.
It had to be because that's a way to like just tie it up nicely too. Wouldn't
it have made more sense? The adjoining room thing messes it up. It would have made more sense if you reverse this. Julie, they don't have adjoining rooms. Julie comes in first with her tea or whatever she was bringing. The doors open, and then he comes in and does that Irene bit. It's like they could have done it a little cleaner, but they love that adjoining room.
Oh, they love it. They love it. Like it's like another entrance.
It's not private. What if things go badly?
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
That's a big commitment. You shouldn't get to be that accessible. You should have a lock at the very least.
Imagine you and your wife go on a cruise, right? Get this nice room, but there's just this door that like you don't even have a lock on it or anything. Person
you dated in college.
Oh, jeez. It'd be awful.
Hello.
Andy says, "I love you too, Irene." And boy,
she's stunned.
He sits next to her, and he shows the world the quote aggressive face grabbing Ray Bolger style of smooching. Good Lord. And they make out. I don't even know if that's what you call it. It was so
man, I hope she brought extra Polident because Bolger's gonna suck those dentures right out.
Jeez. Those things you're gonna crack her plates. That was crazy. And he held on to it. Like they're making out in the senses they just keep their faces like this. It's just
they had to wait till Julie showed up because I guess Julie shows up. We didn't really highlight it, but Julie's kind of been involved in this in the background, kind of giving like glares and stares and whatever. And she shows up with some like herbal tea, I guess, maybe to kind of talk some
Who
sense into
knows?
Irene, probably. And then she walks in on just Cocoon
This
4. Like, it's just,
good Lord. And then God knows what happened when the cameras were turned off. Gee
oh my
whiz.
God. There's hay
Oh,
everywhere.
Irene. Hey, everywhere in Polydent. Oh, and that takes us to break. All right. Well, it's time to wrap things up here.
Oh, it's time to put Dr. Todd in the
Yeah,
bucket, man.
one more for Dr. Todd on the exit. Dr. Todd, he tries to get back with Nancy again. He says he's getting a divorce. Nancy could care less. And that was it for them.
So good for Nancy.
Good for Nancy.
Good, very good for Nancy. And man, if
Yeah.
you're Dr. Todd, that's like, man, when you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Like, it's
But it's also that thing like Nancy probably only wanted him because he was married. Even though she said to, I don't know,
oh, you
Nancy's
see,
a
I
complicated.
took it as Nancy has pride. You don't get to treat me like that. And
Oh,
then
yeah, I can treat you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of
right
those, like, yeah, I
now,
can see that.
would
One
Nancy call him
scorned,
back in 4 or 5 weeks? Maybe,
maybe.
but not today. Not today, Dr. Todd.
No, not today, Dr. Todd. Dr. Todd's going shopping right after this. Well, I need some bachelor clothes. I look
Oh,
like
yeah, I've been too conservative in my outerwear.
I could really let my freak flag fly now.
Oh my God. How's this?
Here's,
This is going to hurt his. I wonder if it'll hurt book sales or help book sales. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
anybody wearing a cape, I might buy a book from pretty much, you show up. Dr. Todd's going to look like Super Grover. It's going to be ridiculous.
What's the title of the book? The Now Marriage. Is it the Right Now Marriage? Is it the For Now Marriage? Like, it's an odd title of a book.
I don't know.
I don't think it was as clever as they thought it was.
What's Dr. Todd's not that clever. Let's just be
I
honest.
meant the show. No, Dr. Todd definitely named that book. Like, so.
Absolutely. Peter
Is there an
Marshall,
acronym?
give me a title.
Is there an acronym?
I don't know. What, the now?
Nights
Or
or
right now?
and
Never
never.
never on Wednesdays? I don't know.
I don't know. Never
Uh
know.
This is my favorite scene in the entire episode. Steubing and Eleanor promise to keep in touch and see where things go, but agree to always remain friends. Steubing says this. uh, Eleanor, we'll be friends first, last, and always. Cheeks
Which I
mooch.
believe is the WWE tagline.
I thought the same thing when I was writing it down. I was like, oh man, I can hear Triple H's voice doing it now. Gee whiz. While exiting
Smooch,
Lamp.
though.
What's
They
that?
smooch, though.
They did smooch. They did
They did
smooch.
smooch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little smooch. Friendly smooch.
And
Uh
we'll never see Eleanor again.
no.
Or will we?
Really? Do you know something I don't know?
I do.
She
Because
comes back, huh?
I was looking up Barbara Rush to see
Yeah.
if she was on other episodes. And Eleanor comes back next season.
Oh,
Which
that's
means
exciting.
we are getting more continuity next season. That will
All we
be
asked for.
3 things now that we know are coming next season based on this season. Vicky,
Oh, the trip to Alaska.
Julie,
The
and
Julie
Jackson
thing.
Hall, and then Eleanor's coming back. And there's just
Love
the ones
that.
we know about.
That's good.
We don't ask for much, guys.
We don't ask for much. This is all we wanted.
Congratulations to Jolson and Bear, continuity editors. We're
They're
finally getting into it now.
Starting
So,
to make, yeah.
Good job, everybody.
While exiting, Lance professes his love and asks Betty to marry him. They smooch. She calls him a wonderful actor. Lance says, I wasn't acting.
Baby.
She's happy. And that's how it ends.
Yeah. They didn't really have much.
No.
They didn't really have much room to move around there at the
No,
end.
it
That's
was
fine.
They were up
There's
against it.
There's a funny bit with Steubing after they leave Steubing doesn't deadpan into the camera, but it kind of felt like it, where he was
Yeah.
like, I wonder if Doc's other wives will show up on the boat, which just felt like a very like
Funny.
Simpsons thing where it was
Very
just,
funny.
and I did want to highlight, I was a little disappointed. Like I said, subtle Ray Bolger, not my favorite Bolger. But at the end, where they are going to get married and stuff like that, and they're walking off the boat, and he's doing the whole thing where you look as beautiful as you did, and she's like, "Do I?" And he's like, "Those aren't the words I want to hear." And I knew he was going to say, "I do," but he didn't put the sauce on the "do" like he did in the last episode, and I thought he would do it.
You know how many takes it took for him to take the sauce off of that line? They're like, one more, please. Just no, almost less feeling.
I just wanted your last vision of Ray Bolger on this boat to infuriate you.
Oh, his sign off, bringing Horace back.
Adieu, Mike Taylor.
He's my second least favorite Horace.
Horace Grant?
No, Horace Hogan is number one.
Well, so as a recap, I think we have been very clear that we enjoyed this episode. Best
100%.
episode of the season is episode 3. That is the cruise ship Casanova and Captain Dan. Worst episode is last week with Pepito. That wasn't last week. That was 2 weeks ago. Pepito. And
episode 37.
Yeah, episode 12 of the season. But yeah. Definitely not the worst.
No.
Probably not the best. Only because I feel like
we're like in an abusive relationship at this point where any improvement I think is almost exaggerated in our eyes based on the crap we've been walking through.
And I don't think anything here was better than the cruise ship Casanova.
No, I would agree there.
And the further we get away from it, and honestly, the Captain Dave storyline had a lot of similarities to the Dr. Todd in that there wasn't as much comeuppance, but there was at least it wasn't a slam dunk. It was a very strong female character and all that stuff. So it's close, but I think the Casanova still leads. But this is
it's not
otherwise.
Far. Not
otherwise,
far.
It's as good as we've seen. I mean, to have 3 storylines that we didn't hate is a win in my book.
Second best. Not that we're really tracking anything but best and worst. Would you top 3? I'd say top 3.
I think so because I don't think we've had anything.
No,
like we've definitely had. I've said it. I feel like every week we've had 7 or 8 episodes where it's been like a great one storyline.
Yeah.
Just trash with the rest of it. There's nothing bad here. There's nothing as great as like the Billy Crystal thing or the Richard Dawson thing.
100%.
Or even what was the one? I know I liked the Julie Jack Chenault more than you did, but there's Dabney Coleman. Like there's been a lot of oneers, but so there's nothing at that peak, but there is a lot of good, and I think I will happily take a very good episode.
I just hope that we can keep this momentum going. At least into the next episode.
Well, you know what the next episode's about, so I guess you'll have some sense of it. But that doesn't always mean
that doesn't really.
This week indicated it was going to be good.
Yeah, you can't read. Yeah. No, I did look ahead a bit, not in a tremendous amount of detail, but I mean, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Captain of the week.
Captain of the week this week, Mike, is real easy. Putting the hat back on.
Good for you and good
Captain
for
Steubing. Welcome back to the cruise. Because we haven't seen, Meryl morals in quite a while. And it was so nice. This is all we wanted.
Yeah.
Show us you're that that good force on the ship. You're not doing anything like against that code, you know what I mean? Like he could have taken advantage of that whole situation. He didn't do it.
There were no missteps either. I kept waiting for it. I really kept waiting.
I was sure.
Yeah.
But I'll say I'm putting the hat back on. I took it off a while ago, but I'll put it back on.
Yeah, I would say that's really because even the ones where he's been pretty good, like the the Vicky one and everything. That was more like, a
Yeah.
lot of drama and all that stuff. But
I don't
no,
think he's ever been King of the Mountain or Captain of the Week.
maybe like the first episode or something like
Oh,
that.
maybe
We didn't even have it back then.
No, we didn't.
I'd have to go back and look. I don't think that we've ever given it to him.
Know.
I am going to go with Tina Louise. Like I said, that was very much a Eve Plum out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just didn't know you had it in there.
Exceeding expectations.
Yeah. And really good, like would totally watch a her and Doc 3-episode arc,
Sure. I'd be happy if they brought her back. No, it doesn't happen, but if they did it, I'd be.
Yeah. Oddly enough, Tina Louise will be back in the final episode as we continue to load up the final episode. And she plays Tina Louise.
Really?
That last. By the way, I looked into the last season a little bit. We shouldn't even count that as a season. There's episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a 2-parter. And then there's the 2-hour finale, which some millionaire gets murdered.
Wow.
I'm kind of calling this nine seasons. Plus, good news. Looks like Julie's back for those last few too. So
fantastic.
Anyways, that made me feel better. But we should probably refer to this as a 9 episode, as a 9 season
run. Yeah. Sure.
Worst of the week, walk the plank.
Dr. Todd, come on. Nothing likable about that guy. 0.
I'm trying to think what even would have been second. I guess the waste of France night would be the only other.
Right.
Yeah. Like you can't even, I'll say Nancy a little bit because what did you think the guy who wrote the book about open marriages was going to be about?
Exactly.
But yeah, everybody else I think stayed in their lane and did good work. Underused, kind of underused most of the crew, but that's been a trend a lot lately.
Interesting.
I did want to ask you because I thought this was a pretty solid doc episode. What are your, now that we're over halfway done, what are your crew rankings for this season?
Great question. Doc,
for a while in the beginning, we had Isaac on top. I think last time we did this, we had Isaac on top.
I think Doc has taken the Isaac spot.
I agree. Through no fault of Isaac's.
Through no,
they just don't give us what to do. It's amazing.
And in fact, I would say Isaac has slipped to number 3, and Gopher's moved up to number 2.
Interesting.
Just because of the utilization factor. Not that we've had a big Gopher storyline. We do next episode.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Julie's been sort of understated. I would still put Steubing at the bottom.
I think I would have Doc 1, Isaac 2. I think I'd have Julie 3. And again, I liked last week better.
Yeah.
But there's a big gap because of the utilization.
Right.
And I'm going to put Steubing 4 and Gopher 5 just because I feel like they just haven't. Gopher is good in all of it, but it's been less than last year.
So before this episode, would
no
Steubing still been in the same spot?
Steubing would have been 5th.
This one saved him, right?
Yeah. No, this was a lot of good work, and it shows. I will say this though, we've talked about it a few times. There have been touches of Gavin MacLeod comedic stuff, in this season that really wasn't there last season.
Well, he's making it his own.
It's a much tighter race than it was last year, but I think part of that is because they're just not giving. Everybody's getting their Emmy episode.
That's it.
In terms of the weekly, I mean, you had 2.5 people involved this week. You don't really have a lot where there's like all 5 really involved.
We're overdue for an Isaac storyline as well. I mean, the first episode of the 2-parter, he was the star.
And then we had the 5th dimension.
Right.
And the fact that we haven't even had a Gopher one till now, we're at episode 15 next week.
It's crazy.
It's odd.
It's crazy. Yeah.
That's totals and a recap for this week.
All right. Well, let me check the old mailbag. Looks like we have a new email.
Oh.
Emails about episode 27. Episode 27, to refresh your memory, is the Luke Skywalker reaction. This is the episode. This is the Norman Fell episode, and we meet the other Bayo. Email. Hey, just finished listening to episode 27, and I'm super disappointed on two counts. One, that you didn't recognize that Ellen Travolta was also in Grease.
Fair. That's fair. I think we have admitted we are a little weak on the Grease knowledge.
Yeah. I know I am.
That's fair. That's fair.
And two, James Coco was in a movie called Murder by Death, which is easily one of the funniest movies in the world.
I think I had Murder by Death in my notes for that episode, and I really want to watch it. I've never seen it, but I did read about it, and it sounds fascinating. And I believe Peter Falk's in it.
Yeah, well, I'm in. I'm a Falk head.
Yeah. So we should definitely put that in the Patreon.
Yeah, definitely. Love your podcast. Been watching the show while listening to your podcast. Hope you have a wonderful day. No name, just an email address.
No name. How about that? Mystery.
So,
I have one.
Really?
As well. I do. It comes from our friend Helen M., who sent me a screenshot of an after-school special from 1987 starring Bernie Capel.
Oh.
Tagline? I guess it's the title. The Day My Kid Went Punk.
Yes, please. Yes,
so
please.
Apparently the kid's like a nerd and he decides to go punk, and Doc's like, I don't know how to control these kids, so we have to dust that one out at some point. But
I mean, if I never thought about what the like polar opposite of punk rock would be, but if I did, it would probably be Bernie Capel.
It's also like 1987 feels like the after school special missed
yeah, they're not really
a little bit.
Yeah, they're a little late to the game on that one. Like what to do when you meet a hippie. It's just wait, what?
But thank you. Thank you, Helen M, for sending that. That came through our Instagram, but when Mike starts to plug, you can reach us by any of those things. And we really do enjoy all the stuff you guys are catching us on. We're not perfect. We're not Dr. Todd, but please let us know if we missed anything or if you have fun facts like Bernie Capel and his punk son.
Anything to plug, sir?
Absolutely hammered. We're in the off season now. Our schedule is sporadic, just like the baseball season. But stay tuned for upcoming episodes as we kind of kill time in the off season as we see what happens in the old baseball season.
Love it. You can find us anywhere you find your audio podcast: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, Podchaser, Player FM, and my personal favorite, Deezer. Please hit that subscribe button and leave a review. You can check out our video podcast on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button and leave a review there as well. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. Look for weekly reels and updates. Next episode, Mike, episode 40.
Oh, the big 4-0. How about that?
4-0.
Man, that's crazy.
Wow. That is
feel like we just did number 1.
It's like yesterday. Number 40. Gopher quits again. Remember when he quit the first time? Because he was he quit suppressed for what was he to remember? He had that girl in his ear towards the end of season 1.
Eve Plum got him fired.
That's it.
Because of the person movement.
The person movement.
And then he got fired for the monkey.
Yeah.
So he actually hasn't quit yet?
Okay, so this would be the first time he quits.
I mean, he kind of quit.
He got fired
to
twice.
Go pound sand, basically.
Yeah, he told. So 2, it's debatable. He may or may not have quit.
Yeah.
We'll see. And then we also welcome Mr. Abe Vigoda to the boat.
Fish himself?
Fish himself.
Oh, my goodness. That's a star-studded cast.
Yep. You're not kidding. All that and more on our next episode, episode 40.
Can't wait.
Anything before we get out of here, sir?
No, I'm glad we kept the positivity throughout the whole episode.
Yeah.
I think it was we've given notes. The notes have been taken, and we appreciate it. Good job, Aaron Spelling, and all your team of old white men. By the way, like 15 guys wrote the now marriage one. So once again,
that's a
anytime
team.
there's a bitter man storyline, everybody piles into the writers' room.
I have something to say. It was a very long, the longest
throw
table.
This one in.
We need to get a bigger table from Burbank. We need more tables.
I just hope, to your point, that we can maintain the momentum for next season or for next week.
We'll see.
I mean, Vagoda, go for quitting again.
How
That's
can
a
that
hot
be
start.
bad?
What could go wrong?
Until then, I'm Mike Taylor, my co-host Mike Robertson. We'll see you next time.